All right, we're at the point in this midterm essay assignment series of videos where I wanted to discuss 3.5 academic essay format. It's a useful structure to use to help format your essay. And I had alluded to it earlier in the midterm essay assignment, so I just wanted to talk about it now so you know about it. You don't have to use it for this essay. I just wanted to talk about it, to provide you an example of an essay format that could work, that you could use to help provide your essay some structure. So it's structure helps because it's like providing signposts to the reader along the way so that we can follow your thinking, because things can make sense up here, but they don't always translate well to writing, especially when somebody else is writing and they're not in your head and they don't know, where you're going and where you've been. So having a more obvious essay structure is like providing those little signposts along the way to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Oh yeah, remember, this is what I'm doing again. Remember here again, this is what I said I was going to do, and I am doing it right now. See, I'm doing it right now. So it's kind of like that kind of thing to the audience so that they know, they can follow your argument just a little bit more simply and clearly. It also helps you as the writer stay on topic. Make sure you don't lose sight of the goal of the essay and what you set out to do with it so that you stay on track. All right. So the 3.5 academic essay format, or in other words, it's 3 ideas in 5 paragraphs. It's that quote unquote traditional 5-paragraph essay where the first paragraph is the introductory paragraph, the introduction that concludes with a 1-sentence thesis statement that makes clear the paper's overall argument about whatever you're writing about, in this case, a literary work and some sort of analysis of a literary work, and it lists 3 thesis points that your paper will use to develop that overall argument. It will use those points to prove it, right? Um, in those subsequent body paragraphs that follow. And typically in a 5-paragraph essay, you would spend 1 body paragraph per thesis point. And as I said, for this essay, you can use any format you want as long as it's kind of clear, and easy to follow. I can follow it, And like if you wanted to do 2 paragraphs per body, or maybe per thesis point, that's fine. 3 paragraphs per body point, that's fine. As long as you stay within that 4 to 5 page limit for your essay, great. You could have 2 thesis points, 3 thesis points, 4 thesis points, 5 thesis points, however you feel you need to accomplish the task of your essay in that 4 to 5 page length that I've set out for the essay. All right. Make sure you focus your essay and thesis statement to a topic narrow and focused enough to develop fully in a 4 to 5 page paper, because full development is crucial to an effective paper. Now, to implement, for example, the 3.5 academic essay format, a student's paper will have a 1-sentence thesis statement at the conclusion of the paper's introductory paragraph. In this thesis statement, the student will state which particular literary work the paper will analyze and the 3 main thesis points of historicist criticism that student essay will use to examine meaning in the selected literary work or message in the literary work or theme or whatever it is you're discussing. Then the student's paper will spend an equal number of body paragraphs on each of the paper's 3 thesis points. In other words, if the paper spends 1 body paragraph on the first thesis point, then for equal development, the paper will spend 1 body paragraph each on the paper's other 2 thesis points. So 1 paragraph on the second thesis point and another paragraph on the third thesis point. All right, students should make sure each body paragraph begins with a topic sentence that uses wording from the thesis statement to introduce clearly the particular thesis point that body paragraph will develop. Students should conclude their papers with a conclusion that recaps the paper's 3 thesis points in the same order in which both the thesis statement itemizes them and the essay itself develops them or presents them in the body paragraphs. Students should further conclude their papers with some sense of closure or completeness or finality. That could, be a question to think about, more food for thought, or just some sort of way to maybe revisit the hook that the student used to begin the essay with. Something to, give it a sense of completion. For example, a one-sentence thesis statement from an actual student's paper that lists the 3 points that a paper will use to frame its argument. Each forms the basis of a subsequent body paragraph reads, quote, the thesis point 1, lack of skills valuable in the workplace. The thesis point 2, lack of access to quality childcare. And thesis point 3, lack of reliable transportation can prevent a mother from leaving the welfare rolls. That's the ultimate effect, right? That's what you're trying to prove. Like why a mother would have difficulty leaving the welfare rolls? Well, here's why. Lack of skills valuable in the workplace, lack of access to quality childcare, and lack of reliable transportation. So that was 3 thesis points. All right. Of course, this thesis statement is not a literary analysis, although our midterm essay requires you to write a literary analysis of one of the works we have read thus far in class. But I was just giving you an example of a 3-point thesis statement, that would list 3 thesis points that contributes to or proves that overall argument or point that you're trying to make, that message that you're trying to examine or prove. All right. The next 3 paragraphs after the paper's introductory paragraph are your paper's body paragraphs. The paper's second paragraph, which is your paper's first body paragraph, then uses, so because the introductory paragraph would be your first paragraph, so the second one is the first body paragraph, if that makes sense. You would begin that body paragraph with a topic sentence. The topic sentence introduces the thesis's first listed main point. Remember, always discuss each supporting point in the same order your thesis statement presents those points. The paragraph proceeds to use example, illustration, anecdote, narration, quotes, research, etc. to show how the main point this first body paragraph is developing helps establish the paper's overall main thesis point. Okay, so you use that to develop your argument, right? And you talk about how it develops your argument. The paper's third paragraph is the paper's second body paragraph, right? Because you've got an introductory paragraph, first body paragraph. Now you're on to the third body or the third paragraph overall, but it's the second body paragraph. And that again begins with a topic sentence that provides transition from the previous paragraph to the second main point as listed in the thesis statement, and it introduces that second thesis point, which of course the second body paragraph will develop. And it also makes clear that the second main point is the chief topic for this new paragraph. As the second paragraph did with the first main point, this third paragraph also proceeds to use example, illustration, quotes, research, etc. to show how, you can develop this second main point in terms of the thesis statement. And then the paper's fourth paragraph uses the topic sentence again to provide transition from the second main point to the third main point and introduce that third main point, which that third body paragraph will develop. Okay? And again, you use example, illustration, quotes, whatever to develop that thesis point in that body paragraph. Okay, the paper's fifth and final paragraph is your paper's concluding paragraph, which should recap your paper's 3 main thesis points, right? The same 3 that your thesis statement listed, the same major points that your body paragraph developed, the same ones that those topic sentences introduced. You all do it in the same order. In addition to recapping your paper's 3 main thesis or body points, your conclusion must also state how these 3 main body points prove your paper's overall argument. And do not forget to finish your paper with some sort of concluding strategy that imparts a sense of finality or completeness or wholeness to your paper and its argument. All right, that is the 3.5 academic essay format in a nutshell. Okay, you don't have to use it, but that's an example of how you could use a clear format to structure your essay's argument, right? And provide those signposts to the reader so that the reader remembers what you're doing. And so you also keep yourself on track. You can use a different one. You can use 4 thesis points, 5 thesis points, 2 thesis points, several paragraphs per per thesis point. But just, have an equally balanced thesis points so that they're developed in about the same number of these body paragraphs, roughly the same way. All right, thanks. And include that introductory paragraph, include a thesis statement, and include a concluding paragraph, right? There you go. Happy writing. Enjoy, and I look forward to reading your essays. Remember, feel free to ask me any questions you may have and post on that discussion forum that is about the midterm. And read those sample student essays too. All right, thanks. Enjoy.